hook echo used to be, and it will continue to move up to the northeast. But for right now, I do not see anything that is pinpointing an area where we have a massive amount of rotation. There is a ton of rain that is coming down, and that extends all the way back into the Vermilion area with a lot of rain. I mean, this is some wailing rain, and it is coming right on to 90 and 80, the turnpike, through portions of Lorain County. Now, the National Weather Service will warn ahead on this, all right? They just want to give you the heads up. We knew that the possibility was there for showers and storms this evening. The difference maker here is that on the bigger picture, I'm going to show you this because it does make a little bit of a difference. What you see back here to the west is this area of low pressure. That is the broader spin, and these little storms tend to, like if you have a pitcher that throws the ball and they put the spin on the ball, these are the balls. So this is kind of just spinning right through the area, and that larger spin is concentrated down into a much smaller thunderstorm. And when you do that, you have the possibility then that we would get these tornadoes. We had numerous little funnel clouds and tornadoes reported in western Ohio, southern Michigan, and northern Indiana this evening with these storms, but you can see even these storms are beginning to fall apart somewhat. So just to kind of keep everybody updated on the forecast through the rest of the evening, we do have these isolated storms that are going to continue to move to the northeast, and that should be it. Once this is out of here, we're done. We will start the day tomorrow with cloudy skies, and we do have a chance for some pop-up shower and thunderstorms for the day tomorrow. But overall, again, it looks like once we get these storms through here, through this area tonight, and specifically the one that is right now on in northern Lorain County and northwestern Cuyahoga County, that we should really start to see things settling down. I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service cancels this tornado warning. My hunch is that that would probably happen later rather than earlier, unfortunately. But you can see that this just looks like it's a big blob of heavy rain and thunder at this point. And of course, we have to keep an eye on the velocity, how the winds are acting inside the thunderstorm. We're still seeing this rotation. This thing just will not stop spinning. And again, the larger spin of the storm system throws, and then you get that little extra spin, and that's where we are right now. We've got that little extra spin. So there's probably some gusty winds that are in the Oberlin area right now. I don't even know how much thunder you're getting at this point, but this particular cell looks like it's going to move right up over the Elyria area. So if you're in Elyria, you want to get in your safe spot, now's the time to do it. It's going to be coming your way. And likewise for Lorain, perhaps even into portions of Sheffield Village, and then into Avon Lake, and then eventually into North Olmsted, Bay Village, and maybe even Westlake there. So Elyria 849, Sheffield at 856. So there's Sheffield. Sheffield Village is in here. We've got North Ridgeville at 904. I think North Ridgeville will probably be on the south end of that track if it's going to continue on this kind of a line. I'd say Elyria and Sheffield, you probably want to get into your safe spots. North Olmsted at 920, which of course is going to be over into Cuyahoga County. But on this current track, I think it may stay north of North Olmsted and head a little bit more toward Bay Village. Interesting to note, remember August 6th, I know a lot of people do, that's when we had that really, really nasty bout of severe weather, and Bay Village and Avon Lake were the first two to get hit. And so now here we go again. So you may have some little ones who are a little bit nervous, or maybe you're a big kid and you get a little bit nervous with this. There's a lot of lightning and thunder that's going on. More importantly, we still see these signs of rotation within this parent thunderstorm as it continues to move to the northeast. This is not a small concentrated area of rotation. It's a much broader rotation, but it is still nonetheless an area that is rather defined of rotation in this thunderstorm. And it does have a history of producing severe weather off to the southwest of us. We had that storm as it tracked through Huron County, kind of did a hit skip, and right along this line, actually, actually. That is where we had the reports of the tornado touching down specifically in the Clarksfield area that is here in eastern portions of Huron County. So there you can see the outline of the tornado warning itself. It does include Lorain. It does include Elyria at this point, and then over into Bay Village and North Olmsted, and then Rocky River and part of Lakewood and Fairview Park as well. But I think that the part of the thunderstorm that we really have to be most concerned about is just north of Oberlin right now and headed up into the Elyria area. And then we'll probably start to see this broadening out, even maybe jogging north a little bit more. That kind of looked to me like what the storm was trying to do is it's trying to take a little bit of a more northerly trajectory. Now we are starting to see some lightning perking up. That is interesting to note. In areas around Elyria, so you're probably getting some thunder there. But notice here that we basically have lost the entire hook, so that's a really good sign. Hang with me, everybody. It's a really good sign that we are starting to lose that even smaller scale rotation, which to me looks like it's becoming more and more washed out. And then you can also get a pretty good idea here that that storm is going to continue to move up to the northeast. It's probably going to stay just north of US 20. So US 20 is this black line that comes out of Cuyahoga County through Lorain County and out into the Norwalk area. So this is going to stay just to the north of US 20. And that's going to cut into Sheffield Village, Sheffield, Avon Lake, and then across the border over into Bay Village and the Westlake area too. North Olmsted may get clipped by that. Dependent upon what it ends up looking like in about 15 minutes or so. It's chugging along. I mean, it's been moving at about 20 to 30 miles per hour, depending upon which different side of the storm you're looking at. So we kind of ping it at like 20 to 25 miles per hour. But this broad rotation is just now coming into the Elyria area, so you're probably hearing a lot of rain right now. We've been watching for the possibility of hail out of this, which we're not seeing any hail in this immediate area, but look at all the lightning strikes that are starting to pop up here. So you're probably getting a little rumbly. The hail possibilities are even west of South Amherst at this point, and this is going to continue to move to the northeast. Now notice here on the super high-res map, you can see how densely packed the population is here. So this is a high residential area, high business area with a lot of buildings. It's coming in. The circulation right now is sitting back in here, which there's a lot of farmland that's out this way. So once you get into Elyria, now you are in the city, and things are definitely going to pick up as far as the population goes as you move toward Avon and then eventually Westlake and Bay Village. So you can see all the little houses and whatnot even on the map. It's pretty slick how that all works. But when you're tracking something that's rather large and a couple square miles across, now you're talking about it's a little bit of a trick to try and track, right? So Elyria, you're getting a lot of the lightning and the thunder right now. As mentioned, not seeing a ton of hail, at least showing up on the radar. Also to note is that the radar dome that you see here, that is located at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. So we're seeing lower into the thunderstorm. So the rotation that we've been tracking as we're getting lower, maybe that rotation is held higher aloft at this point, but a lot of times what you'll see is a reflection aloft of what's going down at the bottom. That's why we have to kind of be very wary of these tornado situations when they start to creep up. There are still some little notches, which could be a sign that we've got some inflow into this thunderstorm, and that is helping to kind of prolong this circulation. But I think for the most part, this circulation is really starting to fall apart and things are looking a lot better. Jessica, are you hearing anything else from the Weather Service?
Nothing really from them asking for some reports. You did get a response from the message that you sent. Just saying that they issued that new tornado warning based on kind of what we thought, relatively strong rotation. They said still present further aloft at about 3,000 feet. So concerned that the rotation may strengthen, tighten near the surface and, continue its progression. So it sounds like they're trying to just be safe with that. Talking to the Guardians now, they're in the bottom of the 7th. Okay. And trying to figure out what to do there.
Yeah, well, I think that they're going to be okay. They're going to keep playing until the raindrops get to be too much. Once the umpire has the ball, it's his decision. He'll take care of things from there. but they do advise the umpire of what's coming, of course. But there's the rotation, all right? So if we track it out of the Elyria area, we're going to go right through Sheffield at 8:56 here, 9:03 for North Ridgeville, 9:18 for North Olmsted, 9:25 for Bay Village. We know that AGT final starts at 9. The actual live show starts at 9. We're very aware of that, and we will plan accordingly for that, I promise, as this threat continues to kind of unfold in this high population area. Just to keep everybody apprised of, where we're at right now, we don't really have a ton of active weather in Northeast Ohio outside of Lorain County right now. We still have a few little blips on the radar that have been showing up farther south, especially into southern portions of Lorain County. This is going to head up into the Wellington area. A few little showers right on the Huron and Richland County line, and then also a lot of rain that's out toward the islands. But this next batch of rain is going to come right up into western Cuyahoga County. And of course, embedded right in the middle of that is the circulation that we have been following. Meanwhile, areas east, south, totally dry at this point. So we are just really focused in on this one specific area where we have the tornado warning that is currently in effect, and that would be Lorain County and northwestern Cuyahoga County. And that will go, do we have an end time on that one, Jessica?
It is going until 9:15 and a slight adjustment, 25 miles per hour. So they kind of keep going back and forth between 20, 30, 25.
Yeah, trying to pinpoint. So the whole thunderstorm is moving one speed, and then all the wind and all the stuff inside of that storm is trying to move along with it. Just wanted to check out farther to the west. We're not seeing a lot of additional development out of that. These were all thunderstorms that we were watching earlier this evening. That were in Indiana not too long ago. I don't know what is going on with this thing right now. Let me try and get, wow. Okay, well, we're just gonna go ahead and, what's that? Jessica?
Try that again. I updated your cone.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
yes.
That's why that
there
was
we go.
doing that. All right, excellent. That helps a lot. Okay, so let's get back into it here because we do have some lightning that is starting to tick up just a little bit that we want to keep a close eye on. Here's Elyria, all right? So here's our cell, and it does look like we are starting to see that hook come out again there as this storm gets into the Elyria area. Our circulation is just not really overly impressive. Still, that doesn't mean that we don't have that possibility of a tornado right now, though, and that is why the National Weather Service issued the tornado warning to start with. So if we get right into Elyria here, that circulation is right now in the city of Elyria. It is crossing right over the turnpike and in the area where 80 and 90 meet or split, whichever way you look to say that. And then that is going to continue to move to the northeast. So it's probably going to be moving right along and just north of US 20. So it'll clip the northern fringes of North Ridgeville. It will hit just south of the Sheffield area. So it's kind of splitting the goalposts here as it continues to move through. But we're going to keep a nice wide berth on it because, as great as the radar is, it's really tough to pin it down to one spot. Literally like house kind of spot. So we're giving a little bit broader representation of that. So Sheffield, North Ridgeville should be in the safety spots, then over into the Avon area and eventually into Westlake and Bay Village. So this is just going to continue to move to the northeast. As Jessica said, she just updated the cone to 25 miles per hour, and that means that we're going to take it into Cuyahoga County here within the next 20 minutes or so. So at 9:10 North Olmsted. So kind of giving you that longer trajectory here of the next 20 minutes or so. This has been a warning that has been prolonged. We've been dealing with this now for over an hour and a half even, where we had the thunderstorm that was out in areas of Huron County, and it showed just phenomenal hook signature. We really saw some good rotation showing up on the radar with it. Even though that rotation was clear up at about 2,800 feet, we are starting to see that starting to settle down just a little bit here. And it does look like it's starting to get absorbed into the overall general southwest to northeast flow, which is definitely a good thing. We certainly like that. But the reflectivity, you can see where that very heavy rain is. Not seeing any signs of rotation in the storms that are to the south in Lorain County, so down around areas around Wellington. Not seeing rotation there. We're specifically into northern Lorain County and northwestern Cuyahoga County, and it's this area right here, right over Elyria right now, and that will continue to move up to the northeast. Jessica, do we have any more updates from the Weather Service?
We really have not gotten much from the National Weather Service at all since these have been issued. They did an update at about 8:42 just for that adjustment to the speed, which is now 25 miles per hour moving to the northeast. I'm still just continuing this hail size down from an inch in diameter to 3/4 of an inch, but still chugging along with that warning.
Okay, and there's our rotation, Jessica's radar there. She's right in on it, and of course we zoom out just a little bit here, and now you can kind of put it into the broader context. Right over Elyria, which sits right here, that's the split of 80 and 90 if you're ever driving 80 or 90 west or east. It's where the two kind of merge together, and that's one of the major exits of the turnpike as it's going across the state. And then this will eventually move just to the northeast and continue over the Avon area. So of course there's a huge shopping complex there. That's where a Costco is. And then it's going to continue to move up into Bay Village and then also the Westlake area. Again, not seeing a point-specific rotation high velocity threat here. Okay, this is good news. The bad news is we're still seeing rotation. We still have a very strong thunderstorm, and it does have that possibility of putting down some pretty impressive rain amounts, if nothing else. And we also have the hail that's been involved. On the reflectivity, so this is kind of the energy being reflected back to the radar by hail and raindrops and whatever else is flying around up there. We're starting to see just a little bit of a curvature here, so that could be a sign that we're starting to see that rotation come around. But even the lightning numbers are starting to come down. So overall, this is a good thing that I keep seeing. I can't say that that doesn't mean there won't be damage in this area, because all it takes is one wind gust and we have power out and we have damage reported. So we have to be very careful with how we kind of thread the needle on this. But we will follow this for about the next 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get you back out to AGT with that live show that's coming up, because I know the live show is next, and that is at 9 o'clock. So the hail threat has seemingly diminished, at least I think it has. Look back here, this was where the big hail was. We had 1 inch hail that was reported in parts of Huron County. Even farther west into Tiffin, they had 1 inch hail earlier today. There was just a lot more heat in the atmosphere, a lot more agitation in the atmosphere, and I'm just not seeing anything like what we saw earlier. So this is obviously some good stuff to talk about at this point. And you can see that the very heavy rain continues in Avon and Sheffield Village, getting very heavy rain right now, maybe even some pea-sized hail, nothing really of note. And then the circulation embedded in there in the Elyria area will continue to move off to the northeast. And it has not really shown too many signs of doing any kind of change. A lot of times we will see some kind of a fluctuation. It'll ramp up and then it kind of falls apart and then it ramps up. It's called cycling. We have not seen the cycling taking place. It's more or less just kind of a wind shift within this broader southwest to northeast wind flow that we have been dealing with. And this would be the area of greatest concern at this point, which now is moving out of Elyria. It's going to be moving toward North Ridgeville and Sheffield, kind of cutting the uprights there right through the middle, and as it continues on its trek through Avon and into portions of Westlake and Bay Village. I really think that this is falling apart quite a lot, almost to the point where I'm thinking we should probably just head back to programming. I hate to do that when we have a tornado warning in the metro area, but people don't really like to hear me drone on about these things. So and I certainly don't want to stand here and talk about this when it doesn't necessarily need it. But the lightning is kind of trending down. I'm seeing even the reflectivity beginning to trend down. Jessica's taking a look at the exact same thing. She's nodding her head. She's saying yes. So I think we will be able to turn you back to programming. I would not be surprised if we have a cancellation of this warning. So here's what we're going to do. Once again, I'm going to pop off. We're going to keep an eye on it. If there's anything that's starting to show signs where it's ticking up, I'm going to be right back on. So we do have a tornado warning that is active, just to be clear. We do have an active tornado warning in northern Lorain County and northwestern Cuyahoga County. As a meteorologist looking at this, I am telling you, I do not see a significant threat. That doesn't mean there is no threat. I do not see a significant threat on this. Looks like they just did a re-update and they trimmed it down just a little bit. But I'm not really seeing a lot in the way of rotation right now. I see a strong thunderstorm, but I really am starting to see that things are dying down on this. That rotation is really starting to broaden out. Granted, we're getting closer to the radar, and that can sometimes muddy things a little bit. But I think that at this point, we can kind of stand down a little bit. So just know there is an active tornado warning in northern Lorain County, northwestern Cuyahoga County. If you are in these areas, it's probably a good idea to be in your safety spot. But you know, I'm not seeing any point-specific place where I can say this is where it is, because it's a very broad-scale rotation that I'm seeing, and it's just not showing signs that it's going to start to really wind up again. And Jessica, I don't know if you are seeing it. I'm literally just trying to
nothing really.
time.
Monica Robbins just texted me a video and said the wind's starting to pick up on Westlake and the Bay Village border there.
Okay, so the winds are starting to pick up.
A little bit ahead of where we're looking at for
that is well ahead of it,
but
definitely.
At least
and that
some wind out there.
Probably more associated with the thunderstorm itself, which is going to have some wind gusts associated with it too. Let me put this into motion real quick, and we'll kind of just check motion on this. This is definitely starting to get to a little bit more of a linear mode here. So we're going to have very, very heavy rain. Very heavy rain. It's going to be laying it down in Avon Lake and Avon, Sheffield Village right now. And then that is the cell that will continue to move out. Right on the end of this, it looks like there's still a little bit of a notch trying to make a living, but it is just having a really hard time of doing it. I'm seeing that a lot of the lightning is really dissipating out of this, and things are just overall settling down quite a bit, which is great news. Not seeing even, you know, before we had kind of two lobes. We had the red and the green together, and they were very well defined. That is really starting to spread out now. So things are definitely looking good. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to let it go. We'll send you back to programming. We're going to keep an eye on it. If I see anything that starts to really tick up my concern level, I'm going to jump right back on. But for now, we'll get you back to AGT, and we'll keep an eye on things.